Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the Serious Strategy Gamer and we're returning to our Motorsports series of BMR. We are one of the worst teams in our league and we are trying to get better. So we are on the upshot here. This is the first race, so this is race day and we have picked a very ambitious target here. We want one of our drivers to be 5th or above out of a field of 20. Currently our team is projected to be 8 out of 10. So yeah, this is very much a stretch goal. If we do fulfill it, we'll get a nice sponsor bonus, so that would be nice. We do have two of our drivers that are in the field over here. We've got Mustafa and Alex. Mustafa is the slightly better driver and the one that maybe has the higher potential. He'll start on grid position 7, so that's about, I think, over there also. And we have one in the very rear, that's Alex. Our car really is not the greatest, but we have tweaked it nicely during the last practice session, so we're going to look at that in a second. Now we can pick two bonuses, and that is these things, so we're going to pick the Super Soft and Race Trim bonus for both of these guys, because that is what we have unlocked. We could also go for Super Soft tires, because that is a mechanic ability that we have unlocked, but since I don't think Super Soft tires are in this league, we're going to go with the Super Soft tires here. Oh, wait a minute. So that's... No, that is the same thing, actually. So we could go with them, because that means they wear down more slowly. And I think that would be very interesting. So yeah, let's try out that. Good. So our car setup here. So we've got two cars. One of them is slightly better, I would say. We've tweaked around that quite a bit. We have tweaked it to 96%, which I very much like to see. It's weird that you have a different average time here, but I think we've consistently just made them better. So that was great, and this was good. No, I think great and great. Yeah, basically this is a fine setup. I don't want to change it at all. So that is what we're going to go for. We're going to, of course, go for the Super Soft tires, because the track today is projected to be quite dry, so I think that would be a very nice choice over here. Plus our driver here has a very high smoothness rating, which means he's going to be very easy on the tires. We could also go for the soft ones. They'd be estimated to hold up a little bit longer, but I don't think that's really required. The durability is nice to get, but since we do get an additional performance increase on the Super Softs, we're going to use that. We're also going to start out with full fuel loadout of 8 laps. That's not going to carry us even for half of the match, so we'll probably have to pit twice. Our pit crew is very horrible, so we'll have to see about that. And we've got Alex over here. You've also got a 96. That's a very good setup, I have to say. So that was great. This is great. Yeah, I don't want to change it at all. And of course we're also going to go for Super Soft tires, and that is fine. We can pick the driver strategy over here already, and I think that is something that we might want to do from the outset. So you've got two strategies, and we're going to see that in the race as well. You've got the driving style that affects tire wear, and you've got the engine mode that affects fuel burn, but also the wear that you put on the engine and all of the other components as well. Medium is typically a good one, but for Mustafa here, who is going to be starting sort of in the middle of the pack, I want him to push his tires a little bit more. Since he does have that high smoothness rating, I think that is acceptable, and we're going to see him try a little bit harder. So we're going to start the race over here. This is again an overview just of the starting grid, and we should see our guy here on position number 7, and way in the rear, Alex Rogers. So there we go. Fine, that is race day. Again, I think we're going to switch to this overview over here, although we can go for the normal one here for a second. And before we really start, so just after this is done, let's pause here for a second. You can see we are basically on position number 7 over here. No surprises there, so this is just a graphical representation. The important UI interfaces for us are down here. We can ask our guy to pit, which is of course not what we're going to do right now. We can get an overview of the condition of his parts, which for now look all a little bit okay-ish, but probably are going to go down. Let's have a look over here as well. There is the engine at 65%, and there's the suspension here at 60%, which we're going to have to keep an eye on. So that is something that we need to keep in mind. We've also got the strategy over here, so we can again choose the style that we are going to put on the tires and on the engine respectively. And of course the same over here for Rogers, so that is something that we can do. For Rogers we also have team orders, so we can just race or we can allow teammates through. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Right, let's start over here and see how El Sadat is going to do. He's going to pull out very nicely from the start over there, but that is not going to keep up. The field is pretty tightly packed in the beginning, so yeah, that will not last for long. There you can see there is someone overtaking, and we're back to position number 8, which is still good for our for our overall standing. I mean, we are 8 in terms of we are 8 out of 10 in terms of teams, which means we should probably end up down here at position number 14 or 15 from our drivers. So being in the first 10 already would be a relatively good achievement. So in addition to liking to be in the first 5, and you can see we are just slowly dropping down there, and Alex is already very much behind there. So in addition to it being nice if we were in the top 5 due to the position of our sponsorship, it would also be rather nice if at some point, just look at how tightly these guys are clumping up. Get out of my way. Yeah, that's true. From time to time you'll just get these little blob-ups. And we can also of course zoom out here and just get an overview of how things are progressing over here. Nevertheless, so in addition to being the top 5 due to sponsorship goals, it would also be kind of nice if we were to get as a team in position in the top 5 as well. As a team means, so basically, I think basically having the average of our teams above 10. So that would also be nice because we've promised our chairman that we are going to end the series in position, 5 or better as a team. So that would be nice. Well, this is all a little bit clumped up, and Mr. El Sadat here has fallen back to position 13, which is not a big surprise. Except, again, this is somewhat where we'd expect him to be, so not a big issue. But let's pause here for a second and see what's going on. So we have burned, of course, some fuel here on the first. This is, I think, lap 3. We've also burned a lot of the tires here, so that is something that we need to keep in mind. This tire wear is unsustainable, basically. On 2 laps to have burned, or 3 laps to have burned 40% of our tire, that is harsh. Nevertheless, the temperature is neither too cold nor too hot, whereas on Rogers over here, you can see the temperature is slightly too cold. So there's an issue there, maybe. I don't want to put him on a more conservative strategy over here. On the other hand, El Sadat, you just might be going for neutral here for a couple of moments, which is going to decrease your ability to win these races here, because you're going to be a little bit less aggressive, and we see you falling back to 14th place, and probably to 15th now. Yeah, that is an issue, but let's go back to this view over here. I think it's just a little bit nicer because you can see the overall pack. Oh, look at Rogers over there. He's gaining 2 positions, actually, 1 position at the very least. So that's nice to see. He was in 20th position for a long time there. And, well, he's struggling. I think this is one of the areas where we might allow him to push his tires a little bit more. Although both of these sets of tires at 50% are now looking a little bit dodgy. Here you can see the first person is pitting, so he's either exchanging tires or refueling or fixing something. That is very early, I have to say. I don't see any rain forecast, or do I? No, there's none. So there's going to be a lot of track, so a lot of grip on the track. Well, we are doing fine, relatively speaking. I'm going to accelerate time here a little bit just to get a better overview here. I don't want both of these guys to pit simultaneously, so what I'm going to do here is ask Rogers to push a little bit more. So his tires are going to wear down a little bit faster, and that's going to be alright because then we can pit him a little bit earlier and run round basically earlier than the other guys. And you can see a lot of people are pitting now. The 36% is still acceptable, I would say. On the other hand, yeah, okay, let's ask Rogers here to pit when there's the next possibility, so basically in half a turn or so. Definitively we are going to exchange these tires to a new set, which is going to be nice. And then we have to ask ourselves, how much do we want to fuel up? The more we fuel up, of course, the more time it's going to take. But we do have at least 12 laps remaining. So we could fill it up entirely, and that would put us at 8 laps, which is okay. But I think something like 6 laps after this is going to be fine, because the more you fuel up, of course, the heavier the car is going to be and the longer it will take. So I think this is alright. This puts us at a pit time of just about 10 seconds. All of our parts are looking okay. We could think about fixing them. And that would increase the time slightly at least. Suspension, engine of course would take an enormous amounts of time to fix. We could go for a safe route. That would of course increase time. We are going to go for a balanced one. We could also go for a fast one. But fast one does carry the risk of something going wrong, and at 23% that seems just a little high. So let's go for balanced. I think that's alright. And yeah, so you're going to come in? Right. Alcedot, on the other hand, is going to be fine for now. He's going to drive one more round on these tyres that are starting to look a little bit dodgy. 25% or so. He's overtaking a lot of people now. And there you can see the change. So we've changed both tyres, we have refueled, and now this gentleman is going to pull off again. We're now going to ask Alcedot to pit because he needs to. He's going to get a new set of tyres. He is also, I think, going to go for about 6 laps of fuel remaining. So basically we have to pit one more time, but I think it's fine. There's no rain forecasted, no anything. So I think this is going to be a fine choice. None of your parts need a lot of attention. At least none that I'm willing to give them. Well, this is interesting. Okay, so here's the thing. In the pit stops, you do exchange the tires first. 4 people are doing this. And then 2 people are refueling, while 2 people can be fixing something at the same time. Now they are telling us that they need 6.8 seconds to fix the front wing down here, which is one of the easiest parts to fix. We don't really need to do this, but we could do it. And that would mean we can potentially fill up a little bit more over here with one more additional lap. Of course, that's going to slow us down a little bit. But overall, I think this would be a very nice match, and a balanced strategy sounds fine for me as well. So let's go ahead and do that. Our tires are wearing down. Good thing that we are bringing you in then. Alex Rogers, on the other hand, where's number 20? Number 20 is really far behind. That is a surprise there. Why are you so far behind? You must have some technical issues here. There you go. And you can see now the refueling and repairing happens at the same time. And Alcedot is pulling out again. He's the guy, he's our slightly better driver. He does have a chance of making it potentially up to 5th place. But right now it just doesn't look like that. Well, you're doing fine for now though, so I think I'm going to just keep you in like this, and yeah, we could go for slightly more aggressive style over here. Oh, we have to dial down on you, because you are wearing that down way too fast. You don't have the nice smoothness rating of Alcedot, so that is a big issue. Even though you have a better relationship with your mechanic, so we've got an additional feature unlocked there. And right now it looks a little bit like our 2 guys are jockeying for the same position there. And this is pretty much where we'd expect them to be, which is unfortunate because we'd like to be better than this. But this, again, is our first race. We haven't really had a chance to change anything too fundamental yet. Especially we haven't developed any new parts or anything like that, so that is a big issue. Right, fuel is looking fine on both of you guys. Your tyre wear is looking a little bit dodgy. I think we could maybe go for push style here, and we are overtaking one guy who's having some technical issues, and he's going to go to pit, so that's nice to see. And that will put us in a slightly better position, but again we need to be in, I think, at least number 9 and 10 to fulfill our promises to our chairman. There we go, a couple of people are pitting, that's interesting, so we are overtaking them, but on the other hand they will be done then for the rest of the race probably, so that is at least interesting to consider. You've got a lot of fuel remaining. I'd really like to overtake at least 1 or 2 more persons before we go ahead and pit. We'll have to pit Rogers soon as well, but he has got 2 fuel laps. Gear changes are feeling a little bit odd to me. Can you look at the telemetry? So he's telling us that, oh yeah, the gear here is starting to look very, very dodgy, and we do have 6 more rounds to go, so that is an issue. We'll have to consider whether we want to fix that, which is going to cost us 10 seconds or so. And you can, by the way, see that up to the position number 5, where we'd like to be, according to our sponsors, we would... Let's hold on for a second here. We've just passed the pit lane. So since Rogers does have enough fuel for basically 1 more lap, I think now is the time to pit him, because that's going to take him 1 more lap basically to come here, and then we don't want him to wait. So we're going to ask him to pit now, which means he'll come into the pit once he passes that next time. So after that, there will be 5 laps remaining. So of course we're going to fill that up so that he has exactly that amount of time. And I think we're going to go for super soft tires, because why not? We don't need the soft tires, they are not quite as good. So yeah, the speed boost here is insignificant, but I think alright. I think over here there is no part that needs to be fixed. I'm looking at the engine though, that is looking very dodgy to me. But again, this would take so long that I don't think this is worth it. And again, a balanced strategy seems fine to me. So yeah, Rogers, do please pit. And Elsa Dutt, on the other hand, can just go ahead and see whether we are gonna be fine with the gear here. We're gonna keep watching this for this lap. So it's 26%. At 20%, we start to get into the red zone, which means that there is going to be a lot of bad things that would happen at that point. Let's go for neutral strategy here, because your tires are looking very, very dodgy over here. Yeah, and there are some... Oh, yeah, now you are in a good position. You might get engine problems. Yeah, I think, you know, for just 5 laps, I think you are hopefully going to be fine, but we do not know. Tire wear is starting to be a problem. Yes, that is true. So I actually do think we need to bring you in now. Of course, we're going to go for a new set of tires. You are only going to have 4 laps remaining, so that is definitely something that we need to do. And I think we do need to fix this. This is going to be a huge drain on our time. So you can see the pit time going up dramatically over here. But if we are going to lose this in the last couple of turns, that'd be horrible. So that is, I think, simply something that we need to risk here. Let's go for a fast pit strategy. It is risky, so there is a risk of additional time being incurred. But the difference here in terms of 7 seconds, I think, is going to be worth it. So we are going to pit him and going to exchange a part, and that is going to cost us very, very dearly. So that is a big issue. Why are you not leaving? Okay, Rogers here in 15th position. You won't be needing to pit again. You also have a little bit of excess fuel, so what we're going to do is we're going to ask you to... No, actually not. Let's not do that, because your condition of your engine is not looking good enough. Right, you are at 5th position, which is nice, but again, we are going to just exchange this over here. We're going to refuel, and we're going to repair that gearbox, and it's taking us forever and ever and ever to do that, and I think we're going to be in 20th place by the time you come out of here. There we go. Well, 15th place, you can see Rogers pulling ahead of us there. 14th position. We're probably going to be overtaken by this gentleman there. Nope, we just managed to stop him there. So that is unfortunate. If we hadn't had that gearbox change, I think we'd be doing a little bit better by now, but again, we just aren't. Both of you guys do have excess fuel now, and I think your condition on all of your other parts is fine. We're going to ignore your engine problems, so we're going to put a little bit more... what we can do though is push on the tires, because we know that these tires are going to last for the rest of the match. It's only going to be 3 turns, so you might as well push them hard actually. And you know what, since you're in position number 8, I don't think it's really viable for you to just gain 10 seconds on the last laps, but we might as well go for an extremely aggressive strategy here on the tires, which I think is going to be fine. And you know what, you're going to do the same thing. You do need to watch the heat here a little bit. If the tire pressure is going to be too much, then there is a big issue. So you're on lap 16, that means, well, basically 2.5 or so more to go. which I think is going to be alright. Let's go for slight time acceleration here. And in the future, of course, we're going to do that. Ooh, look at that. Elsa there pulling ahead. But you, at least, you're not even able to defend your position there. Strange noises from the engine. No, you're going to please ignore that. And you know what? You can go for low engine mode so that you're a little bit ignoring that. This is extremely risky. He might drop out of the race. But with only one more lap to go now, nearly, once you're passing this, I think it's well worth it. You're pulling up ahead very nicely there, Mr. El there. From position number 20, or 15 at least, to position number 12. I think this is very lovely to see you come in like that. But you've got 20 seconds, so yeah, there's no way that, I mean, basically the fifth person he's about to cross the line there. Rogers here just needs to make it for the final lap here, and I think that's going to be great. You can go for overhead, and we can actually go dial down on the things down here. Well, position number 8 and 12. This does not meet our sponsorship objective, but I think it's still a decent go for us. I mean, remember we are projected to be team number 8, which means a very, very much worse rating. I think it would have been conferred to positions number 14 or 15 in the driver set on the driver level. It's always a little bit confusing, but let's see how things stand. So you do get an overview of how the tyre changes went. Our guys are of course highlighted. We did pit a couple of times here for super softs. Some of the other guys were going for soft tyres, which is a viable choice, but I think we weren't very far off with going for super soft tyres. Especially since we did have the bonus, so I think that's fine. You can see a lot of the tracking over here, positional tracking and whatnot, so pit stop history. Of course, potentially our pit stop here was one of the longest, I think. Here for Mustafa, just the exchanging here, 22 seconds, that was extremely long. Also just look at Predator doing a very, very bad stop over here on the refueling. They fumbled that up pretty heavily. They also, Octane did something extremely badly that they needed to fix. But you can see fixing basically is relatively uncommon. Good. So we are going to be scrutinized for any parts that are breaking the rules. Of course we have none, so that's nice to see. There are going to be a couple of bonus points for the fastest laps, but basically you can see the first person gets 20 points, 19, 18, 17 and so forth. So that means we are getting 13 and 9 points respectively for our two drivers. Interesting to see Alex coming ahead of Mustafa. But yeah, Mustafa did have the long pit stop there, so... So yeah, that's 22 points in total for us, which does not meet the target there. Oh, 3 people needed to retire out of the race. Interesting. Very interesting. That's harsh. But okay, that's fine. So yeah, 22 points. Where does that put us in terms of... Well, in terms of drivers, it does put us just exactly where we were, of course, before. Because this is the first race. And overall it puts us into 4th position. Not bad. I mean, we are supposed to be down here. It's not a huge lead. Of course, this is just one race out of 10. And the last race gets, I think, double points. So yeah, this is really just not representative. And we were a little bit lucky there. I think with 3 people retiring, that is pretty harsh. Nevertheless, I think... I don't think this is a pretty lame session from us. I think for where we are projected to be, I very much fancy that position. And our chairman is going to be happy because I promised him that we are going to be 5th or better. And indeed, we are seemingly just on target there. Which is extremely lucky to be to get that early, because it will mean we are going to be on that position for a longer time in the series. So that is going to be nice. Let's look at these changes. So Mustafa does gain some morale over here. Alex gaining a lot of morale. Some improvements made, especially with the relationship with the mechanic. And again, our chairman is going to be extremely happy. Oh, we are expected to be 6th or better, I think. And we are coming in 4th. So that is lovely. I like to see that. Big boost to the happiness over there. Slight boost to the marketability. Our reserve driver just doesn't care. And that's fine. Our total income is going to be 700,000 on this one, which still leaves us of negative but just barely so. So that doesn't affect us too much. There are some other championships, so these are the better ones. We are in the third league. This is the first and the second league respectively. We don't care about their events too much. And here we go. This is our race that we've just fought. So, where does that leave us in terms of our management? Our car is still below par very much. Our drivers are still okay. Our headquarters is doing sort of in the middle. Staff is a big concern, but we are scouting for them. Pit crew, still a very big concern. So let's look through our email. Our car condition update is car condition parts dropped significantly, so there's going to be some time involved to fix that. 36 hours. And there's going to be a question for an interview, which we're going to answer in a second. Pit crew review for pit stops. That was fastest time was 10.6 seconds, so that's what they're going to be trying to beat. And we are getting some questions here about the renegotiation of some of the people that we are scouting. So that's interesting to see. And again, there's the pit crew here. Let's look at them first. So again, we basically want to maximize these parameters here for these guys up here. So the front and rear jack. Not that important, but very important here, the tires rating. Because you saw just how often we were changing tires. The fixing and the refueling rating over there as well, to just maximize that. And again, these 4 people are basically having 2 jobs at the same time. They need to fix tires and either refuel or fix. Whereas these guys up here just have a single job. So let's look at anyone who's relatively decent at things. We've got someone who's relatively decent at operating a front jack. You are a little bit prone to making mistakes. We do have a 9 now, but we do need to have reserve crew so that we are managing their stamina a little bit. So maybe, I'm going to say. Then we've got tires 9 and 8 and 7. That is definitely better than some of the people that we have. 11 is nice, but these guys are not very good at either refueling or fixing. So that's a little bit so-so. You here are, I think, pretty decent. You're a decent rear jack. You're not prone to making mistakes. You have a good stamina. And you're not costing us that much. So I'm going to say yes to you. Confirm that. It's going to cost us 200,000, which is not going to make... It's going to make our chairman a little bit unhappy. And then we've got this gentleman over here, which is decent. So, and he's not too expensive either. Of course, hiring is still a big issue. So... yeah, let's swap you guys, because I think that leaves you some time to recover your stamina, and you potentially want to change up to someone who's more decent. Do we really have no one who's better than this? You're just really not good at all. A 2 and a 3. You're a good front jack, but that's about it. Okay, let's swap you out for you. That does leave us with a relatively decent selection, I want to say, over here. And someone who's actually capable of also operating a front jack. And that's what we're going to do. Fantastic. That you even doing something else other than operating a front jack. Right, but it's still not a good crew. And some of these guys are starting to feel their fatigue just after a single race. They drop down 10 percentage points there. So that is something that we need to manage. We do need to hire more people. But honestly, not you. You're not going to be there. You're not going to be on the team either. And since we do have someone who is already capable of operating a front jack, I don't think we need a second one there. So that's also a no. Right, let's get more to the substantial stuff. So we have asked 2 people here. We are asking a lot of people. So Trevor Clark, Polly Barker, Alex Barbosa, and Eve Harding. And we've asked all of these people, I think, to become a race mechanic. So let's look at them again and just remind ourselves who you are exactly. Trevor, you'd be good at concentration, so making no mistakes during pit stops. You'd be relatively okay at fixing parts. Pit stop is relatively good. Chemistry is nice. These things are not that important. Reliability and performance. Ultra soft tires are not in the league, so that's not important. And super overtake is a little bit so-so. That's alright though. And that's Trevor. And we've got also, especially, I think Eve over here. Eve is extremely good in concentration and pit stops. She's also good at increasing performance. Her part fixes are just not good. But if we are building parts that are a little bit more reliable, we'll not need to fix them that often. And this is just how quickly that is happening. Your bonus points would be tire changes a lot faster and pit stops. I think you'd be extremely good. And you have a lot of growth potential. So I'd really like to hire you and replace either of you guys. Potentially Stephanie. I think both of these guys are a little bit Yeah, both of them are not really that great. So, Eve. Let's get to the negotiation table. Unfortunately, her patience is extremely low, so this is basically our last chance, because we've basically insulted her. So she's delighted about these soft things, but not so much about the other things. So we could dial this up by 1, 2, let's say 3 notches over here. I think that's okay. But you're really, really unhappy with these things down here. So let's dial up the signing fee. I think we can go to 150 here. I'm not too concerned about this. This is just a one-off cost. And if we are getting a good person for that, I'm perfectly happy about that. Down here though, on the race bonus, it's quite important to you. And you're insulted by 36. Are you insulted maybe due to the positioning over here? 1, 2, 3. That's 3 steps up. Let's call that 4, 5, 6. That's a substantial extra cost. You'd be coming in at 120,000 cost if we are getting to that position. I really don't want to give you more here. I'm more inclined to give you something over there, but you're saying this is more important to you. No, this has to be it. Okay, let's send that to her now. And Trevor, you are okay. You're not that amazing. 2.5 points. It's basically putting you somewhat on par with these guys, at least in terms of their potential. You're not really growing that quickly though. Nevertheless, let's do consider what we could do for you. You were unhappy about the wages. You were somewhat happy or neutral about the other stuff. So let's dial this up by 2 notches there. I think that's fine. Good. Let's do the interview. There's only one question. After his win today, we were wondering if you had any thoughts about Tanvir Yahar, thinking of working with him in the future. I don't think so. I don't think we'll be ever looking to hire him just off the bat. So let's actually make Alex a little bit heavier. And that is fine to me. We are, I think, also scouting for new drivers potentially. Yeah, we are. So let's see what's going to come out of that. And we are currently designing a new engine, so that's nice to see. And we are working to fix our cars. So just let's briefly skip ahead here. Oh, there's just another contract. Okay, let's look at you. So we also nearly wore your patience down. You are very good in terms of chemistry. Really, can I not click on you from over here? Fine, let's go here. So you'd be doing sweeter spots and car condition drop slightly slower. Both fine, not amazing. Performance. You'd be having a lot of potential though. Yeah, I'd like to see that. Right, so you'd be coming in, you're insulted by these 2 things. Okay, let's dial this up by, I think, 3 notches, 65,000, that's similar then. Signing on fee. We are already paying you 200,000 if you're coming on. And you're insulted about these things. Okay, let's go to maximum. Okay, signing on. Okay, this is again has to be it. I'm not gonna pay you more. And the last one is gonna be Polly Barker. Let's do the same thing over here. How are you looking? Again, I can't look from you over there. That's annoying. How about here? Light-footed medium tires. That's not bad. Pit stops have a lower mistake chance. That'd be great. Performance is pit stops. You are good. You're definitely a good fit for us. I'd like to negotiate with you. Last chance. Ooh, you're insulted about this here, and you're insulted about the signing on fee. Well, and signing on fee I can work with. Okay, let's do this. Alex Rogers came home from his team's United Kingdom-based headquarters last night, only to find his house had burned to the ground. Everything I owned was in that house. I feel I've lost part of myself. Investigating officers have ruled out any chance of arson, instead believing that the cause of the fire was an electrical fault with the driver's high-tech music system. Oh dear, so for 8 weeks he is going to be impacted and just not going to be that good, which means he's going to be so much more likely to be replaced by us, which is really, really horrible. But yeah, we might have to do that. Yeah, so you are all considering your offers and such. I do want to get to the car though. So that is, I think, the last thing that we need to look at. So the car mechanics are finished and they are ready to start working on parts again. Of course, they are already starting to improve the reliability of this gearbox. That was the bane of our existence in the last match. But I think it was still probably good to bring this in instead of the next one. Slightly higher performance. But yeah, so just so making sure that that is on really, really good next time for the race. So I think that's going to be great. On the other hand, we are also designing the new engine. There's going to be the next race in 23 days. I think we can dial this down here a little bit. I think we're going to ear on the sort of acceleration. Yeah, acceleration is important in the next match. So I think we can sort of just make this equal so that it's going to be a little bit better, but it's also going to be much more reliable. And I think that's fine. Good. So, that being said, I think now is a very good place to put in cut because this has been going on way too long. The next races we are not going to cover in that much detail, but of course I just wanted to show you the first one in a little bit more detail. So then I hope it's fine to you guys. And yeah, hope to see you around next time. Bye bye guys. Do leave a like and all of that. Bye bye.